All right, we're back on the 54 Ford. We're going to do the front brakes, driver's side and passenger side, and we'll do the back brakes. See what kind of stuff we get into. We're going to take the drums off and put spindles for disc brakes. And they're off of Granada. It's supposed to actually lower the car a little bit, so we'll see how that works out. I know we're going to change all the ball joints. Who knows what else? Probably brake lines. God knows. Let's get started. 13/16. Alright, so I got a jack stand right about here under the frame. Jack holding up the A-arm. And when we break the ball joints, I'll lower the jack and it should pull it apart. Probably won't. So we got a cotter pin we got to pull out and pull this nut off and the bearings. See if we can get this to slide off. Alright, now that we got all the drum brakes off, I gotta pull that brake line. And we'll pull this cotter pin and nut, drop this down, then we can swivel that out. I'll go ahead and pull that off. Sway bar. Actually, let's pull this cotter pin and nut off, and then we can just swivel this around so we can get to the brake lines better. We'll see if we can get this sway bar apart. It wasn't too bad. It's freaking wore out though. This one here off first, and then we'll pull this apart, and then we'll take the one off the spindle. Kind of hard to see, but there's a nut right here. Retainer clip nut type thing. I know we'll be changing this line, so we'll be changing all the brake lines too. So the next thing we got to do is pull this cotter pin and bolt or nut, and this cotter pin and nut. And then I'll let the jack down, and probably have to get the fork in there and break that apart. This is what I mean by the fork. You just put it in there and it just pushes it apart. There's the cotter pin. Well, that is a 15/16. Cotter pin. This is a 7/8. The castle nut. Alright, so I'm going to let the jack down a little bit. We'll see what happens. Alright, it didn't come apart. So we'll grab the fork. Alright. Got the top one. We're going to change this ball joint. There's 3 bolts that hold it on and same on the bottom. So we'll just pull these bolts out of the bottom and then get this spindle out of here. So these are 13/16. I'll just zip them off with the impact real quick. Got another bolt back here I gotta pull out. Well, these lights are supposed to have magnets on them, but they're not very good. I guess you get what you pay for. Alright, let's see if that gets it out of there. There we go. And there's the ball joint. Let's see if we can get this one out of there. 9/16. Ow! That was my... You save these nut and bolts because probably gonna be reusing them. There we go. That's the old one. Now let's check and see how much of a difference there is on our spindles. Alright, here's our old one. Here's our new one. See, that's pretty close. Six and a half. Almost 7. Seven and a half. Seven. A little bit of difference, but not much. You can see that spindle comes almost straight out the bottom. This one comes out a little bit above. The other one, we're probably going to get about an inch lower. Alright, we got our new lower ball joint. We'll install that. Alright, I need to look up what the torque specs are on these and then we'll torque them down. So it said it was 30, but we're going to do 50. Stripped out the bolt. Piece of junk. We'll just put this original in there. It's pretty bad when the old ones are better than the new. So all the old ones could handle it, new ones couldn't. So we'll do the same on this, be 50 foot-pounds. And then we'll go till we see the cotter pin hole. Right there. And on the bottom one, we don't have a 1/2-inch drive torque wrench. So we're just going to give it all I got. I already see a problem. Our cotter pin hole's way up here. Alright, so on this what I did is I just put a couple washers. Of course, a lug nut washer. It'll work. If you don't think I'm right, put it in the comments. And then I'll do it anyway. All right. Yep, that should work. Came with new brake lines. Center caps, seals, and bearings. There's the seal. I don't want to put it in yet until we grease it. I just want to see if all these bearings fit right. Everything fits good. So we got to pack this bearing with grease. I have a thing of grease, it's about half full. What if we just throw this in there and shake it? Will it work? Let's find out. Hope the lid don't come off. I don't hear nothing. I don't think it's working. Ew! Alright, let's do it the right way. That sounds gross. Ew, nasty. All right. Now we'll do the little one. Looks pretty good to me. Now we gotta fill this with grease. All right, now we're going to put the big seal in, the big bearing in, and then we'll put the seal in. A little bit more grease in there. Alright. And let's put the small bearing in there. Washer. It's 1 1/8 inch. Loosen it up just a little. That's better. A little top nut. Cotter pin. We need to put our grease zerks in before we forget. There's a hole right here for our grease zerk. Then I'll have to find the one on the bottom one. So I'll get those put in. Or I'll show it putting this one in, and the bottom one I'll just do. Easy. Just get a little wrench, give it a little bit of tighten. I got some bigger cotter pins. I'm going to find something that feels a little tighter than that other one. I'm going to go with that one. See if we can get the brake caliper on there. One bolt is a 5/8. Yep, 5/8. This one is a 16. Nope, 3/4. See if we can get our caliper on there, make sure it fits. And when you put the caliper on, this needs to be at the top, not at the bottom. It's wrong. It has to be at the top. And then the brake pads, this one, because it curves, so you want it to curve. Goes in there like that. All right. Thought it was recording. Let me get the other one. So this piece goes on top of this piece. And then they slide in here together. And that's what holds that on. So now we're going to do the brake line. The crush washers they gave me don't even fit the brake line, so I'll have to see if I can find a crush washer. Alright, so I took the crush washer and just drilled it out a size bigger. Gotta be careful though, because it's easy to crush. with the pliers. That's it for this side. Let's see if we can get the tire back on. Some extra grease in here. All right, there's that side. Now we gotta do the other side. Hang on to these old ones just in case the new ones strip out like on the other side. This one's just as bad as the other one. So I need to get new bushings for this. All right, we're ready for the new stuff. These washers suck. That nut doesn't even have any threads in it. These new washers are just not very good. We're going to try this one bolt. See if we can handle it. It's just junk. Hopefully those ball joints are better than their bolts. A little bit of grease on the back side. Not this side, but this side. Helps with the squeaking. All right. Driver's side's done. We'll have to have him order some new bushings for the sway bar. And then the next thing we're going to do is back brakes. All right, this is the driver's side rear brakes. Pads all look good. Got a little bit of moisture there. Looks like the axle shaft might be leaking a little bit. So I'm just going to go around and tighten the studs. See if that fixes it. But brakes on this side look good. So that was easy. This is the vent tube right here. I'm just going to clean that up real good. And we'll just keep an eye on that. Maybe it's just building up a little pressure. That's why it's leaking a little bit. Oh yeah, pretty dirty. I think it'd be all right. I'll check the other side. Other thing we have to do is the brake lines. All right, let's check the other side. All right, passenger side rear. Brakes are good. Nothing's leaking. This side don't have a vent tube, so all we gotta do is the brake lines. Alright, so I gotta take this off and then I'll rerun the brake line and the front lines. I gotta make new front lines. Because they'll come out of here, go into here, and then this will be one front. I can't remember if this is the driver or the passenger. And then this is the other side. And then that's the rear. And I got new fittings, new brake lines, more brake line. All right, getting ready to do the back brake line. Here's the old one right here. So you take it apart there, and it runs down the frame there, right here. And it goes on the other side of the frame, right here. Goes all the way to the front, right here. It comes out right there. This is the brake line for the other side, the passenger side. I've already got it ran over here, but I need to get this one. So I don't know where to put the junction box. Here's the proportioning valve. Rear brakes. One's left, one's right. Here's the lines going into the proportioning valve. This here goes between the brake booster and the master cylinder. So that goes in there like that. There's an adjustment screw in there. There's our new brake line. I'm going to flare these ends with the firing tool. You just pick whichever size line you got. 3/16 to 1/2 inch. And you just put it in there where it barely sticks over. And then you put this point in the end of that line. And you just turn this down until it flares out to this size. I'm going to flare this line for the rear brakes. Alright, now we'll get underneath the car and take the old one off and start routing this one. So the brake line was a 3/8 and a 5/8. That one was 3/8, that one's 5/8. Alright, the brake line comes over the frame. It runs down the side of the frame. Right there's a little metal clip. Alright, I figured it out. It's a push-in tab. It's kind of cool. All right, so we got one, there's two, there's three, and there's four. So I'll get those popped out. Got it. All right, now I just need to run more new copper line and figure out how to put a junction in there somewhere. New copper line. So I was fighting with getting that in there straight, so I pulled this retainer clip out so I could drop it down like that and get that tightened. All right, so I'm just going to push this back up in there, put this clip back. Anyway, I'll get that back in there and I'll get back with you. And this is just a little pipe cutter. You turn this and it moves that. There's just a blade in there. Make sure you put your end on your tube first. Okay, I got the clip in. New brake lines ran. See it right there? Comes over the frame. All the way down. And up through there. There's the new one for the driver's side. We've got a brake pedal switch rear brake line. This is the passenger side. This is the driver's side. Alright, here we are back on the 54. Brake lines are done. It's bled. I'll probably bleed it again before I let her go down the road. There's all the brake lines. I'm waiting on some clips so I can fasten this stuff to the fender well.